you have had such an incredible career in an industry that so many people aspire to be in. They aspire to have success. So what do you, maybe from this point, this trajectory, looking back at it, what do you attribute your success to?
You think that was all like they knew it was being recorded and they wanted it to get out there?
All I know is the Jedi mind trick. Everybody's talking about it. Ticket sales went up. Solange album sales went up 200%.
Am I talking about your husband or your father?
I can say I've never in my life hit my daughter, so she's never been a slave to the back of my hand because I didn't believe in that.
50 Cent just dropped some juicy gossip that's got everyone buzzing, and it might make you see Beyonce's world a little differently. This time, he's not just taking shots at Jay-Z's, calling out Matthew Knowles, too. According to 50, Matthew's been pulling strings behind the scenes to make sure Beyonce's connected to Jay-Z. Sounds wild, right? But trust me, the tea gets even hotter. Let's break it all down. When Jay-Z married Beyonce, it wasn't just a love story, it came with some serious perks. According to 50 Cent, that marriage wasn't just about romance, it brought in trophies too. After tying the knot, Jay started stacking up Grammys like clockwork, and his success skyrocketed. Now 50 Cent is back at it, stirring up drama the way only he can. This time he's not just throwing shade at Jay-Z's, he's calling out Matthew Knowles too. In his latest rant, 50 hinted that Matthew has been pulling the strings behind the scenes, keeping Beyonce in a relationship that might be just as much about business as it is about love. Sounds wild, right? Let's get into it. 50 Cent didn't hold back this time, throwing shade not just at Jay-Z but at Matthew Knowles too. He claimed Jay has a habit of stealing Beyonce's spotlight at big events like the Lion King premiere, making it all about him instead of her. And let's face it, the tension between 50 and Jay-Z isn't new. These two have been at odds for years, clashing over everything from business moves to personal jabs. But this time, 50 took it up a notch by dragging Matthew Knowles into the drama. He suggested that Matthew might be so obsessed with building up Beyonce and Jay-Z as a power couple that he's pulling strings behind the scenes to keep things looking picture perfect. It's a bold claim, and you can bet people are talking. Let's break it all down. Matthew Knowles has always been focused on keeping the family name spotless, even if it meant putting Beyonce's happiness on the back burner, or so some people say. For him, it seems like protecting the brand is the top priority, no matter the cost. And then there's Jaguar Wright, who didn't hold back from stirring the pot. Known for speaking her mind, she called out Jay-Z, accusing him of being all about control and exploitation in the music industry. But Jaguar didn't stop there. She dragged Beyonce into the mix, claiming she's looked the other way when it comes to shady industry behavior. Just when you think the drama couldn't get any wilder, Jaguar turned things up a notch, dropping bombshells that have everyone talking. Let's dive into this chaos. Jaguar Wright didn't hold back, claiming that Jay-Z's controlling ways might even extend into his marriage. She painted a picture of a relationship that's more about power and control than actual love. Then there's Dr. Carrington, who revealed an interesting backstory about Beyonce's all-female band. Apparently, the idea came from Matthew Knowles, who thought forming an all-girl band would finally get Beyonce to listen to him. But here's the twist: Beyonce still did things her way, proving she wasn't about to be boxed in by anyone, not even her dad. Now, things get even juicier. 50 Cent's recent comments seem to line up a little too well with Jaguar's claims, raising eyebrows everywhere. Could Matthew's obsession with control have shaped not just Beyonce's career, but also her personal life? The pieces are starting to connect, and it's looking like there might be a bigger story here. Let's break it all down. When you look at Jay-Z's alleged controlling behavior, it's easy to see how it might be connected to Matthew Knowles' notorious ways of running things. Matthew has always been all about keeping control. This is the same guy who had Destiny's Child singing while jogging just to build their stamina. So it's not too far-fetched to think that he might have put the family brand above Beyonce's personal choices. And there's more to the story. Have you heard the rumors about how Matthew reacted when Beyonce and Jay-Z first got together? Word on the street is he wasn't exactly a fan. In fact, it sounds like he wasn't thrilled about Jay-Z being in the picture at all. The whispers suggest Matthew might have had bigger plans for Beyonce. Jay-Z didn't exactly fit into that. It's starting to look like there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than we first thought. Let's dig into this even deeper. Matthew Knowles wasn't exactly happy when Beyonce started dating Jay-Z. A lot of people think he felt Jay-Z's tough, gangster rapper image didn't match the perfect, clean-cut image he had built for Beyonce. But according to 50 Cent, Matthew eventually warmed up to the idea not because he changed his mind, but because he saw the huge marketing potential in their relationship. So what do you think? When Beyonce first started dating Jay-Z, did you see it as a good match? He was successful, but with that gangster rapper image, it seemed like a strange combo, right? Or do you think 50 Cent is just trying to stir the pot with these claims? Either way, there's definitely more to this story than we realize. What's your take on all this? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and the drama is really starting to heat up. There's a crazy accusation involving Jay-Z, Diddy, and a 13-year-old teenager that's got people talking. Now, about that statement that was released, it definitely feels like it wasn't just a random comment. It seems like something carefully planned and written by a lawyer. You can tell because at one point the tone gets really intense, almost like a warning when it says, "You're going to find out." It's clear that there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. So what do you think? Are we about to get hit with more shocking revelations, or is this just the start of something bigger? Stay tuned because this isn't over yet. The drama just keeps getting better. Farrah Franklin has some serious tea to spill about her time in Destiny's Child, and it all ties back to Matthew Knowles. According to her, he was the main reason she left the group after just 6 months. She didn't hold back, describing him as loud, overbearing, and treating her like she didn't even deserve basic respect. Farrah explained that she was battling dehydration and sickness at the time, but instead of being concerned about her health, Matthew acted like it didn't matter. That's a lot to unpack, right? Farrah's story just adds another layer to the drama we're seeing unfold. What do you think? Does this change the way you see things? There's definitely more to this story than meets the eye. Farrah didn't hold back when talking about how Matthew's management pushed her to the breaking point. She already knew what the group dynamics were like because she had been part of it, so she couldn't be too upset. But she knew Matthew was the one pulling the strings, and that's where all the pressure came from. When asked if she was mostly upset with Matthew afterward, she didn't hesitate, saying, "Yeah, absolutely. He was the main one." She also opened up about how the whole group dynamic felt like a mess. Farrah felt totally isolated, especially during one team meeting where she felt like she was ganged up on. She was trying to fit in with the close family-like bond the group had, but it just wasn't clicking for her. It sounds like Farrah went through a lot behind the scenes, and there's a lot more to this story than we realize. What do you think about all this? Farrah didn't hold back when talking about the tight-knit circle of the Knowles family and Michelle's church background. She even claimed that after she left, Matthew allegedly told the other girls not to talk to her. Can you believe that? As for Beyonce, Farrah said she didn't feel any real tension between them, but she wasn't buying Beyonce's public statement about her skipping shows. Farrah made it clear she never missed a show unless she was already out of the group. She hinted that the whole difficult story was just to cover up the fact that the group lost multiple members in a short time, trying to make it seem like everything was fine. What do you think? Could Farrah's side of the story be true? Or is there more to the situation than we know? It sounds like there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we might not have seen. Farrah made it clear that Matthew's controlling hold on the group made everything feel toxic. It was obvious that she saw through all the drama and decided to walk away rather than stick around. You have to respect her for putting her own happiness before the chaos. But wow, what a story. Being part of the world's #1 female group came with so much work, dedication, and commitment. Farrah just didn't realize how much it would take. Aside from the partying and her health issues, she didn't expect the level of effort it truly demanded. And when you dig into Kelly Rowland's history with Matthew, things get even wilder. The rumors about Kelly possibly being his secret daughter have been around for years, and they're louder than ever now. Fans and insiders have been suspicious of the connection, especially after Kelly's close relationship with the Knowles family came to light. Matthew has always played it cool, brushing off those rumors. But could there be more to the story than we realize? What do you think? Let's be real for a second. Matthew may have called Kelly his adopted daughter and said all the sweet stuff, but when you look at her career, his influence is all over it. From the early days in Destiny's Child to her solo projects, he was right there. But here's where it gets interesting. Matthew wasn't just a chill manager. He ran Destiny's Child like a well-oiled machine. Latavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett, the original members, have said Matthew was all about control. They even claimed he gave extra attention to Beyonce and Kelly, while the other members felt like they were just background players. And now 50 Cent is out here adding fuel to the fire, making even bigger claims. So what do you think? Could Matthew have really been pulling all the strings behind the scenes? It's starting to look like there's a lot more going on than we ever realized. What's your take on this drama? 50 Cent isn't just throwing shade at Beyonce, he's hinting that Matthew's controlling ways went beyond just her. Some fans even think Kelly was easier to manage because of her close connection to the Knowles family. It's almost like she was always part of the inner circle, which made it easier for Matthew to keep her in line. But here's something to think about. Matthew didn't have to be so involved in their careers. A lot of parents would have stepped back and let their kids figure things out for themselves, especially since Matthew was already a successful businessman. But he didn't. Why do you think that is? Could Kelly have stuck around out of loyalty, or was there something bigger going on behind the scenes? What do you think? Let's not forget about the drama when Kelly split professionally from Matthew. Some insiders say it caused some serious tension. The word on the street is that Kelly's solo albums were strategically planned so they wouldn't interfere with Beyonce's releases. Now, you might think that's just a coincidence, but if you know Matthew, you'd think it's a little more calculated than that. That's just how he does business. And then we have Jaguar Wright, who's been spilling all kinds of secrets. She's not just talking about career, she's saying that Matthew's whole way of managing was all about control. She's not holding back, and it's only getting messier. So, what do you think? Is there a lot more going on behind the scenes than we realize? Let me know your thoughts. Jaguar Wright doesn't hold back when she talks about Matthew's way of managing. It wasn't just about making Beyonce and Kelly into stars, it was about total control. She believes Matthew set up a system where power and control were the top priorities. And guess who might fit that bill now? Jay-Z? Jaguar even suggests that Matthew's approach could have influenced how Jay-Z runs the entire Knowles Carter empire. Imagine this: a super strict schedule that included everything from voice lessons to watching old videos of past artists. It was all about keeping things controlled and structured. Pretty wild, right? Do you think Matthew's influence on the business still affects how things are run today? Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts? Jaguar Wright has been coming for Jay-Z lately, accusing him of being all about control and power. She's saying that Jay's way of keeping Beyonce on top is pretty much the same as Matthew's control over Destiny's Child. It's all about keeping everything in line: loyalty, image, and having total control. But here's the twist: Jaguar thinks this wasn't just some coincidence. She connects Matthew and Jay in a story of manipulation, suggesting they've both been using the same playbook for success. Now, do you think there's any truth to this? Could Matthew's influence still be behind the scenes in the way Jay runs things? Drop your thoughts below and let's talk about it. Matthew's influence might have actually helped set the stage for Jay-Z to take control and keep the family business running his way. When you think about it, Jay-Z's career really started booming after he got with Beyonce. Since they've been together, he's racked up 16 or 17 Grammys, which is no small feat. Now, when 50 Cent recently called out Jay-Z's Grammy wins and took shots at the whole Knowles Carter machine, it seemed like he was agreeing with everything Jaguar Wright has been saying for years. Could it be that Matthew's control over Beyonce's career was the blueprint for how Jay built his empire? What do you think about all this? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Did Kelly's loyalty and silence make her easier to control? If we're to believe what Jaguar and 50 Cent have said, the whole Knowles Carter empire might just be a web of power moves, all tracing back to Matthew's tight grip on things. It's a messy connection, but the signs are tough to ignore. And then, of course, there's the elevator incident that shook the internet, that moment between Solange and Jay-Z. Have you ever wondered what really went down there? What was going through their minds? This story definitely makes you ask more questions, and it's one that deserves a closer look. What do you think? Let's dive into it. The elevator showdown, remember when that footage dropped? It became the talk of the internet for weeks. Solange came at Jay-Z with all the fury in the world, swinging at him like she was about to knock him out. And then there was Beyonce just standing off to the side, completely still, almost like she was in another world. The silence from her was deafening, and it felt like the perfect Knowles Carter family image we all saw so often suddenly cracked wide open. Solange's fire, it was obvious. Was it from her mom, her dad? No one really knows. But the bigger question is, where did Matthew Knowles fit into all of this? That moment in the elevator just opened the door to so many questions, and people still can't stop talking about it. What do you think? When Matthew was asked about the elevator incident, he just laughed it off and called Solange a firecracker like it was no big deal. But think about it, your daughter just went off on your son-in-law in an elevator, and you're acting like it's just a funny moment from a TV show. Fans didn't buy it. They felt like his reaction showed something deeper was going on within the family. Some even speculated that maybe Matthew secretly liked seeing Jay-Z get put in his place, especially since there's been some tension between him and Jay. So what do you think? Was it just a family spat, or was there more going on behind the scenes? Solange has always marched to the beat of her own drum, and she's not afraid to show it. From the start, she's made it clear she's not about getting caught up in the family drama. While Beyonce keeps her image polished and perfect, Solange isn't afraid to throw some shade, clap back when needed, and drop an album that makes waves. She handles things on her own terms, never letting the family mess get to her. Solange's ability to stay authentic and true to herself, even when the spotlight's not on her, speaks volumes. She's all about carving her own path, and it's something fans can't help but respect. Solange has definitely kept her distance from Matthew over the years. She's not interested in getting caught up in the family drama and has made it clear she wants to do things her way. But let's not forget about Tina Knowles. She's got that calm, graceful vibe, but don't mess with her when it comes to her daughters. Just recently, she accidentally, or maybe not, liked a post about Jay-Z's legal troubles. Fans noticed, and some thought it was her subtle way of standing up for her family without saying a word. Tina's loyalty to Beyonce and Solange has always been loud and clear, and she's not afraid to show it when it counts. So, here's the thing, Tina will always stand up for her daughters no matter what. Even if it means clashing with Matthew, she's got their backs. As for Matthew and Solange, their relationship seems pretty chill now, but let's not forget that unforgettable elevator moment. It's a reminder that no matter how perfect everything may seem, there's always something bubbling under the surface, and with Matthew's history of controlling everything around him, you can't help but wonder how much of the tension in the family today still ties back to him. It's a complex story that goes deeper than what we see on the surface. Matthew saw something special in Beyonce from the start and decided to invest in her. He chose to make her a superstar, and honestly, that was his choice. Without his hard work behind the scenes in those early days, who knows where she'd be today. But hold on, the Knowles family saga just got even crazier. Adria English dropped a bombshell claiming she had a hand in creating a baby trap that completely turned everything upside down. According to Adria, her friend Alexandra Wright was the one who got Matthew involved in this shocking drama. Can you believe it? The twists just keep coming. Matthew's affair with Adria's friend turned everything upside down, and the fallout was wild. It wasn't just a small family disagreement. Tina, Beyonce, and Solange went all in, giving Matthew the cold shoulder by skipping his second wedding. They weren't holding back. And here's where it gets even juicier. Adria claimed that she had sent one of her friends to Matthew, and that led to a pregnancy. As a result, Matthew's now paying child support, and Beyonce has a sibling no one expected. On top of that, her parents ended up divorcing. It's like a soap opera, but the drama doesn't end there. Adria's hinted at more hidden secrets, and trust me, you can't help but wonder what's still waiting to come out. Adria has been making some pretty bold claims lately, and it's sparking a lot of talk. She's been suggesting that Jay-Z might be involved in some behind-the-scenes drama, and even took a swipe at Beyonce, calling her Sasha. Could she be trying to get a reaction? But it doesn't stop there. People are also talking about those infamous Diddy parties, and Adria might know more than she's letting on. She's even connected Jay-Z to some shady situations, and it's got everyone questioning just how deep this whole drama really goes. It's almost like, why can't you just be as strong and fierce as Beyonce? The curiosity around all of this is off the charts. You know, it's kind of wild when you think about it. Why did Beyonce have to be Sasha Fierce? Why not just Fierce? I've got this old video from a 2004 Diddy party where he actually announced me as Sasha, but Beyonce didn't start using that name until 2008 or 2009. Now, let's talk about Matthew. His reputation has been taking hits left and right, from Adria's claims to Alexandra speaking out, and even the growing distance between him and his own daughters. It's clear as day that he's become a magnet for controversy. Some even think that Jay-Z's legal drama has only made things worse for Matthew, with people connecting his fame and wealth to all the mess going on around him. It's a lot, right? Things just keep getting more tangled. So what's really going on here? Is Matthew just being blamed for everything, or is there some truth to all this drama? One thing we know for sure is that when you're a Knowles, it feels like every step you take brings more attention and controversy. Adria's still throwing jabs, and Matthew's never far from the spotlight, so it's clear this story isn't over yet. Now, let's talk about Alexandra Wright. She's the one saying Matthew's way behind on child support for their 3-year-old daughter. This drama just keeps getting bigger, and who knows where it will go next. Stay tuned. Here's a twist in the story you might not expect. Matthew's controlling side may have actually saved lives. Dame Dash, who's no stranger to spilling the tea, recently revealed that Matthew made a bold move to keep Destiny's Child far away from R. Kelly. Why? Well, Matthew had heard some disturbing rumors about R. Kelly, and instead of brushing them off, he took action. In hindsight, that decision seems to have been the right call, keeping the girls out of harm's way. It's one of those rare moments where his protective instincts actually worked in their favor. Matthew's decision to keep Destiny's Child away from R. Kelly may have been one of his smartest moves. He's always been proud of his daughter, and not just her, but all the girls in the group. He knows how hard they work and how committed they are to their music. But let's not forget, Dame Dash's comments weren't just about giving Matthew credit for being protective. There's a bigger story here. Dame was hinting at something more, suggesting that Matthew's decisions might have been motivated by more than just looking out for the girls. It makes you wonder what else went on behind the scenes. Dame Dash just can't seem to stop going at Jay-Z. He's always been upset about how Jay handled things with Aaliyah, especially after her tragic death. He feels like Jay got too close to her, and that still bothers him. Then there's his issues with Beanie Sigel. Dame feels Jay didn't have Beanie's back when he needed him most, and that's something he hasn't let go of either. But let's focus back on Matthew. His decision to keep Destiny's Child away from R. Kelly wasn't just about looking out for his artists. It showed just how much he was willing to protect them, even if it meant creating more drama in the long run. Matthew was known for more than just guiding careers. He was all about controlling every aspect of them, especially when it came to protecting the Knowles family name. His decisions were always made with a purpose, but that also meant people saw him as a manager who didn't leave much room for freedom. Former members like Latavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett have shared how hard it was to breathe under his management style. While Matthew's reasons might have been to secure success, it definitely shaped how Beyonce approached her own career and even her role as a mother. One example that stands out was R. Kelly's habit of recording late at night, sometimes around midnight. But why was that such a big deal, and what was really going on behind those closed doors? Let's dive deeper. What made R. Kelly's studio so different was its setup. One room was a recording studio, and right next door was a club with 40 to 50 people dancing. The girls, only 15 or 16 at the time, would go to the bathroom, and Tina would go with them to make sure they were always watched. Matthew Knowles, though, hasn't been silent either. He's always proud of how much control he's had over his family. Just recently, he spoke out about Beyonce not winning a Grammy, praising her work ethic, but also reminding everyone that he's the one who pushed her to achieve so much. He even joked that no one could take credit for her success except for him. You can't help but wonder, was he being protective or just showing off the power he's always had over his family? Matthew Knowles' comments about Beyonce's work ethic sparked mixed reactions. Sure, he's proud of his daughter's success, but some fans couldn't help but notice a hint of his old, controlling side creeping through. Remember, he's the mastermind who took Destiny's Child to global fame, but not without a price. Look at how Beyonce manages her own daughter, Blue Ivy. Every appearance is perfectly planned, and even her interactions with the media seem carefully curated. Some fans think that Beyonce's tight grip on Blue is just her way of protecting her from the harsh side of fame, something she's definitely witnessed throughout her own career. Do you think Beyonce's following in her dad's footsteps when it comes to shielding her family?